Oh, hello everybody. Well, it's Thursday. It's afternoon. Looks like it could be the 5th of September. We're well on our way to get into fall, and I can tell because we've got a few leaves out there turning yellow, and some of them fell to the ground. Another nice day out there today. A little cooler out there, better working conditions. Unfortunately, I was outside doing the work yesterday. I should have been doing it today. But, oh well. I was looking at a couple programs out there. I seen Midtown's Best, Super Dave. Big hello out to you out there, Dave. Sorry I missed your live today. I'd have gladly partake in there in the chat. I knew it was there, but the wife and I had to go get groceries. We gotta eat. Gotta feel that. You hear that? I have to feel that on a daily basis several times. If I didn't go to the store today, I was going to be sadly missing some things that I like. And everybody that listens to my channel knows I do like to eat. Especially this time of the year. We picked up some sweet corn today. I'm looking forward to some of that. Probably have some tonight. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I like the fresh stuff. We got some fresh green peppers out there today. You gotta see some of the bakery things I picked up. I picked up some, uh, oh, they're a caramel bakery, like a kind of like a cinnamon roll, but they're made with caramel. And I had one. Is it good? Mm-mm-mm. You take that thing and you put a dab of butter right in the middle of it, put it in the microwave for 15 seconds, pull it out, and of course it's running in every direction a little bit. You throw that down there and get you a fork. If you pick it up in your fingers, you're going to regret it because you're going to have caramel all over your fingers. No, I couldn't help but get a little bit on my face because it's just that good. And a good old glass of milk. Not fresh from the farm. It's been pasteurized and sent through all them machines that break out down all the proteins and then put it all back in. You know how that is. Got to meet the government standards, right? I might have been raised on cow's milk fresh from the tit, but they no longer allow you to get it that way, so I guess, I'll just have to do what I have to do, right? Oh, when I look out there, this whole world seems to change more and more on a daily basis. Sometimes it's a little hard to catch up with it. I do my best. After all, I've got this little thing in front of me, a computer, so that I can talk to a lot of people out there. I wouldn't have been able to do this 50, 60 years ago. And when I've got it in this mode, obviously I can't hear you talk unless I go live on here for whatever reason. Last time I went live, I had a few people in the chat area that they love to get their barbs in there, and I made a couple of people moderators, and that slowed those yo-yos down, that's for sure. I'm amazed at how many people can make remarks when you can't see them or talk to them in person. But that's the way things are today. People have been brought up that way. They understand the techniques and the technology behind it, and their personal life seems to follow through on the same nature. In other words, all the morals go out the window, and all they can do is threaten you. That sounds kind of familiar, isn't it? Well, Middletown, Super Dave, I like that video you put out today. I think you did a great job on it. Tonight, I think 2 Lees in a Pod will be on there. I'm going to try to get in there. Of course, I won't be able to stay up all night, but I'll do my best to stay up as long as I can. You won't believe this, but I think it was, I can't remember how many nights back it was, but I fell asleep for about an hour while I was watching, and it wasn't that it was boring. I was just so tired I couldn't stay awake, and I should apologize to you guys out there for that. I did go back in the morning and go back over what I'd missed. It's not really age so much, it's just I just ran out of daytime awakeness, if you want to call it that. Awakeness is better than wokeness, you know that, right? Okay. Oh, there's been a few people get pissed off at me. I don't know why they do that. They don't understand that in a free country, if you have an opinion, it's your opinion, and if people don't like it, they don't have to abide by it, and they don't even have to listen to it. Lord knows, if we were in another country that was a dictatorship, you wouldn't agree with what the government was saying, and probably at any one time, and you wouldn't have any choice but to listen to it and abide by it. Here, in our country, you're free to do what you want. Well, almost. We still have a few bullies up there who want you to abide by their standards. And their standards are not the same as the Ten Commandments the Lord put out there for us, is it? But by the way, there are a lot of people, and I had one come on my channel and explain that they were atheists, but they sound like they was a good person, and I don't have any problem talking to somebody that has a different belief than mine. That's not something that I could cure or do a whole lot about. But if they're a good person, what more can you ask? And you'd be surprised how many people out there don't believe in a higher deity, but they follow the Ten Commandments better than most people that don't know anything about it, and some that do know about it. So I don't judge people by their religion or their politics, either one. I know there's one out there that thinks I'm a big Trump fan, and I do believe in some of the things that Trump has done, but I don't believe in the condescending, his ways of talking down to people or calling them names, or the way he talks to people is similar to this creator that we all love to hate. Love and hate, there's just a fine line between it. So if I say love to hate, we're walking that thin line, right? Anyway, I do believe that Mr. Trump does have some problems talking to people, and I do believe the reason he lost that last election was because he lost it himself. He talked himself right out of the boats because of the things that he said, and he wouldn't listen to the knowing people around him that knew how to play politics. And if you want something bad enough, any kind of a job, you have to know how to play to the tune of the people that you're trying to get attention of. And I even had a politician come to a company thing that explained to us all how politicians come to their beliefs more than anything. They pick a subject that's 50-50, that gets them half the votes if they hit hard enough on it. And then they just need a few more votes, and so they'll hit on something out there. And it could be nothing more than Social Security or Medicaid or something like that to get him across the line to win the game. He just has to be a better speaker and have a little more charisma than those he's running across. So Mr. Trump does have a following because of there's a lot of people that like that aura that he puts out. But in real terms, when he was in, the economy was rocking and rolling on all 8 cylinders. And in the worst times possible, when we got hit with that little pandemic back there, at first he was against letting everybody know about it. He did figure it came from China. And he started working towards how can we get this serum, if you will, out to the people, and how can we get it in time enough to do enough good to make it worthwhile. And part of that was guaranteeing the medical field, not just one lab, but multiple labs. If you come up with something, we'll push it as hard as we can to get it out there to the public, and the government will pay you in advance for those medications that it takes to protect our people. That was good thoughts. And believe me, he did do that. He was able to get it quicker than anybody I've ever heard of. You know, back when I was growing up, March of Dimes was a big thing, and trying to get polio cured was a cooperative effort between the medical field, the people, and the government. And everybody hooked together because they wanted to save the children. And it was called the March of Dimes, and it worked very well. In this instance, it was mostly the government that had to reach in there and give a good kick in the butt to these labs out there and said, hey, you get in gear, you're going to get it out. We want something to look at within the next few months, and we want to be able to put it out in 6 months. And all that was done when everybody else said it would take 2 years. 2 years is kind of a standard, I believe, for drugs. Now, I've worked in labs before years ago. I mean, I know what they have to do certain things, and the testing you go through, and you know, patent rights and all that stuff. It is tough to get something out that quickly that is safe. And both parties fought one way or the other. One started out saying, yeah, we need it. The other one kind of, no, you don't need it. And then it was reversed. And a lot of it has to do with politics and not necessarily the good of the people. I know I got dinged on here because of my views on YouTube. I got hid, I got put away in a closet. One of it was because there were some things that I had tested in labs that don't work with a darn, and they were putting it out as a standard for the people out here in the United States. I felt bad about it, but you know, I'm just a person out here. It doesn't matter what I did or what kind of background I had or what I was certified in. It doesn't make a bit of difference. It's only what the media is willing to put back out there. Now that brings me to the next subject, okay? Now, all of you know that I believe in our Constitution, and I believe in the ways that it was supposed to work. And I also know that there's people out there that take advantage of every little thing they can. They find a little loophole, they jump in there. Congress comes along, closes the loophole, and the loophole chokes us like this. It's a neck around your rope. Neck. It's a rope around your neck. It squeezes the life out of you because we've become a society of rules and laws and just all kinds of stuff to keep us from being free, really free. Let's free our soul up. And it's because we can't get along with each other. We have all this BS. And on the other hand, and I'm going to give you an example of something. This, you know, we all know about Mary out there, the clerk that was along with her superior that was overcharging for utility. And it was, without explaining every little detail about it, it was not a good thing that was going on there. And there was a cover-up of sorts going on, okay? They got worried, they knew they overstepped. But Mary is just a player in there. She was not the boss of the system. She was the messenger, okay? That's it, a messenger. She did the billing. Now, in real terms, and there's a video out there that backs me up. She asked a person to leave her office. Now, yes, it's a public office, and yes, that person has a right to say, please step out of my office. I have things to do right now. I'll contend with you later. That's her office. She's being hired by the public, and you are encroaching on an office, even though you pay taxes on it. You do not have the right to tell this person that she cannot work by herself for a minute till she can take care of you. She needed enough privacy at that point because you were bugging her. You were taking her out of her work program. Anyway, when in her rush to get him out of it, she is pushing on him a little bit. Not any more than a mother asking her son to leave the bathroom if she's needed to use the bathroom. Something as simple as that, okay? Very lightly. Now she's a big gal. She comes almost up to his armpit, right? She's probably a young 65-year-old with gray hair, kind of on the plump side, kind of like your grandmother. You know the type. You know how they say, "Would you please go out of the room? Would you get out of here, please? You're bugging me." So he ran right down to the sheriff's department. Oh, by the way, this is the sheriff's department. He said that don't help him at all. He don't like him, and he's asking for the help because he was assaulted by the city clerk. She was charged. They asked him more than once, "Are you sure you want to charge this person?" And he said, "Yes, I do. I definitely want to charge this person. She assaulted me." Okay. I look at that, and the reason I'm laughing is because it's so absurd. So we're taking a law and we're dotting the I and we're crossing the T on something that should never have happened. If a person is working, even though they're a public servant, and you were in there without having called ahead of time saying, "I'm going to be there at a certain time," and that I am disputing whatever it is, would you please take time to take care of me, and what time can that be? Instead, and there's only one person there that's taking care of that whole darn thing, you get in there on your time and expect them to drop everything and do your service. That's not the job description. Now, I'm just telling you. I feel, and my personal feeling on this, opinion is, maybe this was baited just a little bit. Because when I see how this whole thing came down, and how quickly you ran to the sheriff's department that you don't particularly care for because they don't do your bidding for you, and file this claim. By the law, because she touched you without your permission, that was assault. They charged her, give her the ticket. Now later on, as we go down the thing there, she ended up with a stroke. Now we don't know what caused it. We know she was pretty worried. I mean, she's wrapped up in this thing. She don't know what's going on. She's being threatened with jail time because of the false billing practices and things like that. But to carry it to that extent, well, I mean, that takes a big man to do that, doesn't it? Hey, listen to me. If you destroy everything about a person, and then you bring him into a situation, into a trap, or let him fall in that hole you dug for him, that's real manly. That's a true man. Yeah, it is. That took a lot of balls. Oh, wait a minute. Should I even say that? I'm not sure if I should or not. Mine still work. Well, I think they do. I haven't had any babies for 57 or 8 years, something like that. I think my youngest is 58. But all kidding aside, and joking aside, come on now. What is that? Well then, let's go along with this thing. We love our laws, and some take advantage of the darndest little things. You know, it's kind of like, it's nasty to spit on a sidewalk, and it's against the law in a lot of places, but you think about it, what are you going to do with all that spit that might be full of tobacco? Now, you know you're going to get it if it's got tobacco, and if the cop sees you, probably get you for trash on littering. But in most instances, most people look the other way and walk away. What about, now we know that a court action took the protection order off from a person and it was thrown out of court. And I understand that a judge is sick and tired of it. He hears this bickering and he knows that this thing should have been settled a long time ago, and there was a lot of money wasted getting there. And quite frankly, the whole thing was all BS as far as, I don't particularly care the way the court system ran at that point. It was a burden on both parties. And I don't know, everybody says, oh, it was only a burden on the guy. I'm going to tell you something. It was a burden on both parties because it was held up in the air all that time because this judge wasn't doing the job that he should have done. And the next judge come along and said, hey, I'm not going to put up with this stuff. It's done. I don't want to hear any more about it. That could have been done a long time ago. And maybe it should have been. It would put that part to rest. And there was a lot of people who felt a lot better about it. But then I want you to think about this. When this gal, her significant other, her ex-husband, was walking down the road with a walker, this other guy had a protection order on him. So he's out on the road and he said, get off the road. You have to be X amount of feet away from me. You can't be near me. Get away. There's a ditch or whatever alongside there. I guess the property runs right up to the road, so he would have to step off into the road. I'm sure that's safe, and he's walking with a walker, right? And he truly did have to have problems. He had problems with his knee. It's a true thing. That protection order actually, if you cross the T and dot the I, means that, yes, he has to get off the road. Even if he was there first, walking down the road with that walker. Now, that thing is still in force. There's a camera up there that every time somebody pulls out of the driveway, they're going to see him. And one of them, him and his significant other, can come out there and drive down that road and say, get off my road. Get off this road. Protection order, get off the road. And they have to get off. Their order was thrown out, and it has similar restrictions. So now it's just one-sided instead of being two-sided. It's one-sided. I guess that's fair too. He's a big guy. He did it the right way. He's just doing it right. He's got these people have to do what he didn't have to do, no more. Yes, sir. It worked out just right. Better than cherry pie and a little bit of ice cream on it in his side. And he's out there bragging about it. Couldn't help but get out there and start whooping it up. You see, the law's on his side. And that's fine. It went through court. Both ways it did. The other day, he held up a piece of paper. Look at that. Look at how sloppy this is. Look at all the mistakes on there. That's never going to fly. They can't do that. What he did is he showed the incompetence of this poor woman in filling out simple forms and the mistakes. And I have to admit, when I look at it, I'm thinking, wow, what kind of an idiot filled this out, and how sloppy can you get? And then I wonder, well, what was going on while it was being filled out? And what kind of a background does this person have? And if they're that incompetent, why is this person bragging about being able to overwhelm them legally, financially, and in every way possible, including intelligence? What does that give you? Does that give you a superiority over this person? Goodness gracious. I wouldn't do that to somebody. I'm flabbergasted. You can't be the bigger person when you have such a small apathy in your heart. It doesn't do you any good to have a great big heart if it's empty. Everybody told me this guy has a big heart. I'm wondering, does it really? Well, I went after somebody one time. And when I realized what I had done and the damage I was doing to myself because of it, I went out there and I made it right. Now, because of that, I've helped other people, and I've been royally screwed over it because I did that. But it just happens. Was it worth it? Going back and fixing those mistakes, yeah, it was, because it healed my heart. It probably would have never happened, but I really thought I was this big shot at one time, and my children were young, and Lord knows, I was a trustee in the church. One of the guys that worked for me, I mean, he was a former preacher from Louisiana. I mean, what were the church thinking of me when I had went on my way to ruin this guy's business and harm his family? When I seen what I had done, and the only way I knew it is I went over and paid a visit to this guy when he's probably at his lowest point. He had the law after him, the FBI was after him, the local authorities were after him, the banks were after him, the land savings was after him. He didn't have a moment's peace. And when I walked over there and I seen that family, I said, well, I caused this because I was mad at him, and everybody else was paying for it. And I did everything I could to rectify it. I went around, did a collection first, so that financially they could at least go in and get some groceries, pay utilities, and make their house payment. They were in the process of purchasing this particular house. They were about to lose it because I was such a jerk. And my heart hurt. And I want to tell you something, it was hard to go to church and face my peers there with the realization of what I was doing. And I know Jesus would not have done that. Absolutely would not have done it. I didn't go in there and talk to our pastor about it because I was too ashamed. And I didn't bring it up at the board meeting either. These were dear friends of mine sitting there, and I'm looking at them thinking, what did I do? What can I do to fix it? But when we did a temporary fix on this thing, I went out and talked to a few people, and this business was still intact, although he was under investigation by just about every entity there is, including federal and state. And yeah, he had a few charges come down because of fraud, bank fraud. But he was able to get back up and start running a business again, and not that it was lucrative. He was building homes. He was able to get on the right track. You know what else? His family and my family, we all become friends, close friends. He even joined our church and became a member in good standing there. Very good. And his children did too. And that friendship lasted till the day he died. He's gone now, and I miss him. Miss his family. His wife is gone too. We actually worked side by side for another company for a while. He helped me get started with that company. If you can imagine. Well, first let's go back to, I'd got awful sick after getting this guy back on, or helping him get back on his feet. He got on his feet with hard work and changing some of his lifestyles. It wasn't just me or something like that. A lot of people helped. I just was the guilty one that did everything I could to push him down that wrong path. But anyway, I got so sick, and I had tore apart a wall out of my house and had a canvas up there. It happened to be the living room wall, and it was on the south side of the house. We had bad weather coming, and I was bedridden for a short period of time. It was a bad case of flu, believe me, but really bad. And he found out and come over and rebuilt that wall with some of his guys, and sealed it all up and insulated it, and it was ready to go. I didn't ask him to. He did that all on his own. And we helped each other over the years, even though there was times we worked at the same company. We even lived down south at the same time. And that helping hand was reciprocated in both directions whenever it was needed. They're real friends, not something that money can buy or make a difference in. It was just real friendship, voluntary friendship, not forced in any way. So you can have somebody that's an enemy and make a friend of them, but it takes a hand up. Was he a good person before that? I don't think he was. Otherwise, I wouldn't have chased him down like I did. Was he a good person afterwards? In my heart, I feel he was. He was baptized in our church. He professed to believe in Christ. I couldn't ask much more out of a dear friend. So, through my life, I've always had that in the back of my mind. Am I doing the right thing when I tear after somebody? When I fire somebody on a project, am I doing the right thing? Did I do it for the right reason? Do I let personalities get involved? Personalities always get involved when you're doing something like that. But you have to temper it with being, is it the right way and what's it going to do? You can't take people's paycheck away from them and feel good about it under any circumstance. It doesn't work that way. I don't think I was foolish. I've been told I was because I've used that as a base along the lines even into this ripe old age. And it wasn't that long ago, that helping somebody out cost me a chunk of dough within the last year and a half, matter of fact. But I'll tell you something, I don't worry about it or think about it at night. I would have if I'd have let it. If I would have let that strain and worry, it would have taken it out of me. So by letting it go, I guess I'm being selfish to a certain extent because it was for my mental issue to feel better about the whole thing. I will never recover the funds, and that person will have to live with what they did. There's a lot of things, bad habits involved that caused this person not to be able to carry their financial obligations through, and that's their worry. And I didn't go back after them to try to collect either. I don't plan on it. I won't live long enough to collect debt from somebody anyway. I'm too far up there in age to worry about such things. All I have to worry is there enough for my wife and I to make it till the day they plant us? Oh, heck. Anyway, that's my story of why I got where I feel obligated to help somebody out, the underdog, if you will. And you can take somebody that is maybe in your eyes the worst person it is, and with a little help from the right person that's up there, you can sometimes change a person around to be a citizen that can carry themselves. It's doing the things that maybe Christ would do. I mean, there's no maybe about it. You can see he helped a lot of people. Actually helped us all because of what he did. And for the people that don't believe in a higher deity, that's fine. You know that good morals will take you a long ways and make you feel better. That's what's important, is to, in the understanding of getting along with people. We're not all the same, and it's a good thing we're not. It'd be so boring. My feelings about that yo-yo that is such a bully, I don't know if he'll ever change. He's got quite a track record behind him. He uses other people to do his dirty work for him. He makes a showing of it. I don't know. I've seen how it's affected a few people that I'm around, that I see even on this thing here. I see the difference in our channels of the people that follow. If you come on my channel, and if you really look at it close, you'll see that a big majority of the people are very happy, refreshing. And it's like walking into a room in the springtime, you get all the windows open, how you feel good. A nice breeze in there, the difference in the smell and the feeling, the whole works. And then you go into a channel where it's nothing but griping and complaining and attacking and hate. And the other day, I looked at a channel and I thought, this guy's sitting there spewing his BS about somebody he knows nothing about other than what somebody else told him. No proof in his hand, no proof to look at. And he's letting people on his channel disparage others, including me, and he didn't know me from Adam. And it's okay for those people to do that. And I'm thinking, what kind of channel is that? Because on my channel, when they come in there and they start doing stuff like that, I click them out, or I say, nope, you can't do that, don't do it again. Some of them have a different opinion. I try to answer the opinion. Sometimes I just leave it up so that people can see there are opposing opinions and they need to be aired because maybe I'm wrong. And that has happened more than once. Oh, I don't know. I never thought that the world would be so split as it is today, but I can see that in 5 minutes. All I have to do is go on some other channels. Other channels, boy, they're refreshing. I get dinged because they say, well, you're doing the same thing he did. Uh-huh. Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. You backfire a little bit and it stops it from spreading. I don't purposely go out there and use nasty names against somebody. I don't think that should be part of it. Now, and yes, I know one of the guys that's running for president does exactly that. Well, that doesn't mean I approve of what he does or says either. Although I'm accused of it because I'm very conservative, moderate in some things, but very conservative, and absolutely not in the left field. So, yeah, you can put words in my mouth and you can guess at it. But when you say you're 100% whatever it is, for the wrong guy, and I look up there and boy, what a fool you are, because here I've expressed how I feel about people with that type of personality, and you come out here, I know you didn't listen to me at all. All you know is that I'm conservative and I like the conservative values. That's all you know. And I don't vote straight ticket, and the reason is because I vote for the person and the things that they've done or will do. That's what I vote for. I vote for the longevity of this country. The people that are going to protect our Constitution and our rights, not people who are going to overburden us with new laws. Not those pansy lefties that go in there and want new laws made so that I can't move from one place to another. I don't want that. I've just about lost my freedom of speech already. What more do you want out of this poor guy? Oh yeah. Oh, I know. Some of them didn't like my smile, my laugh. Talking down to them. Who do I talk down to? Did somebody feel so small that when I was talking on here, they felt I was talking down to them? Because they must have thought I zeroed in on them. When I'm looking down, I'm looking at my keyboard. The camera's up here. I'm not looking down at you physically, mentally, or in any way. We're all equals in this world. And speaking of that, if the law was applied equally, okay, and we take this person that can't fill out a form and we put him in front of a judge without a lawyer and say that's legal, and another person over here is a millionaire and they've got a lawyer or 2 lawyers or whatever it takes, and the time to take to come to court over piddly things that should have been settled in a week, and squash them. Literally said, I'm going to squash them. And that's fair, and people are eating that up. Thousands of people love that. They think that's the greatest thing in the world, to follow somebody out there that is... Oh, come on, folks. You played too many video games. That's not reality on those video games. Don't go out there and do it to people. They don't deserve it. I hope you never get into that where somebody takes on and decides to come after you and they overwhelmingly have you beat before you start. To literally taking a piece of paper up to show how a person's incompetency is that they can't even fill out a simple form that it took to get the court case going, and saying, I'm coming in, I'm going to squash them. You can see how they're incompetent. They can't even fill out this form. That's what he said. I'm going to squish him. I'm going to get him like this. If I was to put it out there and you didn't know either party, which way would you swing? I'm just asking. Which way would you swing? Which makes you sleep better at night? Where's your personality at? What if we leveled the field so that both parties could actually think and say? What if we had moderators out there that listened to the whole story before it went to the judge? And I feel that this is one of the best things that could ever happen, is that some clerk of court could sit down with both sides and go over the story and then present this to the judge and say, this is what my understanding. And go ahead and tell them, say, this person has a hard time talking in front of a group. They're very nervous. They can't present a good case. That one over there, they've come with guns. Well, this one here, I'm going to put up a little later today. I'm going to have another quick one, a preliminary before this one, since I put this out. This is too long to just leave up here. It is. It's way too long. So, this was going to be the number 2. There'll be another one out there that I'm going to call number 1, and I'll put it out first and this one later. So I hope you end up watching both of them today, or maybe today and tomorrow morning. In any case, you have a good day out there, and thank you for tuning in to me. I'd like to do it live, but sometimes when you do it live, it opens it up to some pretty nasty people out there, and that's not what this channel is about. And I will go live, but I've got to think it over a little bit and make it a little softer. Thank you for listening this long, and come on back.